Hi guys! So today I want to recap on the previous review I did on the Cocoa Contour and the Peacock bronzer that Too Faced came up with. A lot of you have asked me to redo the video because the swatches weren't completely visible in the video. So I'll go ahead and jump right in to that Cocoa Contour palette. As you can see right here, it has six different shades, and the colors are just hardly visible. I've added extra light today. You see, they do smell really nice, but I can barely get any pigment out of this. So look at that. I'm really scrubbing in, and like other reviewers have said, you have to build and build to get this product to show. Now, if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead. But for me, that's a lot of work compared to, for example, the Kat Von D contour palette that doesn't require as much building up, and the colors are just so much more visible. So there's my thoughts on that. And again, this is slightly better than their Peacock palette or Peacock bronzer that, as other people have mentioned, you really have to work to get that to show up on your skin. Now, from the Too Faced Natural Lust line, they also came up with this eyeshadow palette, which I think this palette is definitely a better palette compared to the previous version, which was just called Natural Love. It's definitely more pigmented, but they still have some misses in there. Would I pick this up if I already own a bunch of palettes? Probably not, but as you can see, the color's definitely there, and it's something that I think it's more pigmented compared to the bronzer and the contour set. Now, I also reviewed in the past for you guys the Colourpop Villains collection. I was also able to get their little jelly shadows, and I just wanted to quickly dive in there and compare these jelly shadows to, for example, the actual palette. You see that blue is very two-toned, and these jelly palettes or jelly shadows, individual shadows, they are a little bit harder to work with, but you can see that the pigment is definitely there. Now, of all of them, my favorite is definitely the blue one, because you just see blue and some shades of gray in there. You don't see random yellow glitter lights in there. For example, if you pick up the red color, you expect to have red, right? But unfortunately, when you swatch this, you see a lot of yellow glitter in there, which for me, it's just something I wasn't expecting, and kind of limits my use of this. If I go ahead and swatch the green one, kind of still have that problem, because let's have a look here. You see the green has so much yellow glitter in there. So for me, that's something that I really don't appreciate. I would much have preferred to have green all over instead of these random yellowy glitters in there. Now, speaking of blue, I thought it would be a good time to talk about these little donut palettes by I Love Revolution. The blues in there, I've heard a lot of great reviews about it, so I thought I'd take a moment to swatch it. Now, for a matte eyeshadow, it is a very pretty blue. I thought it was a good opportunity to compare it to the Riviera blue from Anastasia. There you can see some beautiful blue. So I actually kind of like these donut palettes. and I do recommend them. Now, if we wanted to look at the pinks, the pink is definitely visible. It's definitely pigmented, and compared to the Misunderstood palette, it's definitely, they're both there. And the Riviera, however, I'm guessing more pigmentation. That pink is just neon in there. So yeah, there you see all these different colors, and I am very impressed with all of them. One thing that I like about these jelly shadows is that they're kind of smudge proof when I do this. You see these other eyeshadows that came out of a pan or a palette started to smudge, whereas these jelly ones dried out and they're kind of transfer proof in that way. Once they've dried, they don't smudge. So now I want to talk about the Avengers line that came out last week at Ulta. I haven't even had a chance to swatch it yet. As you can see, these palettes don't have a mirror, and so they have a cover like this, so I will have to find a way to open them. And let's see how they do. Now I'll pick this beautiful red shadow. It says Hero Vibes. I like it. It's very good. Then I'm gonna pick this blue. It's called Legend. That's also pretty. Another color is Reassemble. Now I didn't really like that color. It was kind of streaky and patchy. I guessed it would be for a palette that was fairly cheap. I'm gonna go ahead and try their highlighter real quick. This color says Become a Legend. It's nice. Visionary, Best Never Rest, and Prepare to be Amazed. Okay, that last color I did like, but the other three were so-so for me. That's what I expected from Ulta's line. I also went ahead and bought their lipsticks. Here is another shade. It's called I've Got This. Very interesting names. And this one I really like the shade. It's very pinkish nude, which I enjoy. So, and they don't have any scent to them. Now this line came with some cute bags, which I was making sure to pick up. The Ofra Pro palette. I know this was released about 2 months ago. I thought it was really pretty to pick up, so I went ahead and got it. And I just kept the swatches from the other palette, the Too Faced one here, so I can compare the quality with Ofra side by side. I really like this lavender shade. It's definitely showing on my skin. The purple shade is definitely popping and beautiful right there as well. Let's go ahead and try this orangey shade, which is also beautiful. I like how they didn't give it names because really nobody cares. And then you have this beautiful orangey shade. I think these colors are beautiful and unique compared to, for example, some Too Faced. The highlighter is also very, very unique, and if you don't already own an Ofra palette, I would definitely recommend this because it's just beautiful. Let's try this. And I would definitely recommend this palette all in all. So, all right, another thing I wanted to review for you guys was the Jessica Rabbit Ciate collection. Now I know this has been out for about a month, but my package only arrived recently, and look at this, you guys. It is just completely destroyed. I don't know how they shipped it, but it's just completely destroyed. However, these seem to keep selling out, and the highlighter seems to show fairly well on my skin. But if you were to compare that Jessica Rabbit highlighter with, let's say, an Ulta one, honestly, there's not a whole lot of difference. So this was like, what, $12 versus this, which was about, I'd say, 20. You see the difference is hardly noticeable, you guys. So save yourself some money and get this, and don't waste your time with this Ciate line. Another thing they came out with was their eyeshadow palettes. And as you can see here, they also seem to have an issue with purple. Now I'm really digging in here and trying to show you guys, I'm gonna bring the light here, how this purple looks like. Really, really digging in. And there you have a swatch, which is just, you see purple in there, you see brown, but the purple is hardly visible. Now, for example, if you were to compare that to the Ofra palette, which I talked about, and it recently came out, they have a very nice purple in there. And if you go ahead and compare that purple, you'll see, wow, I mean, the difference is stunning. I know this is not the same exact shade, but it shows up on my skin. Whereas the other one, it just didn't show up at all. So there you have that. And let's say if you were to look for this purple in the Riviera palette and swatch that side by side, I mean, the difference is just stunningly different. Like the Riviera palette has so much more pigment, so beautiful on the skin, whereas this Jessica Rabbit one, you really have to swatch hard to be able to see anything. So no, I would not recommend either of these products. So speaking of purples, I also picked up the It's My Ray Ray palette by BH Cosmetics. What attracted me to this palette was the purples that they have going on in there. So I went ahead and bought this palette. I want to compare it to the purples from the Riviera palette, the Ofra palette, and the Jessica Rabbit palette. So I'll look at that purple. It shows up beautifully, and it's almost identical to the Ofra palette. And let's do this one. Yeah, these purples also show up as well. So far, the most pigmented one I would still say is the Riviera palette. Second, it's the Ofra and the It's My Ray Ray. And lastly, unfortunately, is the Jessica Rabbit one. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. I will be giving away my Jessica Rabbit palette as well as my Riviera palette. Also this highlighter from Ulta as part of a giveaway this month. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you. Bye.